if I tell somebody straight out, yes, every attorney in your firm should be worth at least $1 million in revenue, they're going to look at me like I've got two heads on. They're going to be like, you're out of your effing mind. There's no way that you can do that. And I guarantee you that I will show you a way that you can do that with an attorney on your staff, no matter the practice area. What's coming up in all of my clients across the board, whether in our coaching program, whether in our fractional CFO side of the business, the only exception is our largest client, doing tens of millions. All of those clients are struggling to find an attorney to hire, right? That is a real challenge in the marketplace. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that there aren't enough attorneys out there. And I think it has everything to do with the way that you're going about trying to hire them. So let's talk about this real quick. When you hire somebody, unless you're running a multi-million-dollar business and you have the bandwidth to be able to take the time to train somebody up, you want to hire somebody with experience. The difference between, if you bring in an experienced attorney, they're fully operational 6 weeks in, right? Hopefully less than that, but 6 weeks in, they know your systems, they know how you want things done, and they're working with clients, and they should have a fully booked calendar, right? If you bring in an inexperienced attorney, you're signing up for at least a 6-month process until you feel like they have enough to be able to operate on their own. And even that is probably a stretch. You're probably talking about not 6 months, but 12 months. But let's just say 6 months. The difference between 6 weeks and 6 months is 4.5 months. The reason you would hire a brand new attorney or an inexperienced attorney versus an experienced attorney is because of what they cost. What's the difference between what they cost? Let's say the difference is from $60,000 to $150,000. Let's say it's a $90,000 difference. I'm going to give you that, right? Even though you're probably not hiring a brand new inexperienced attorney for $60, but you probably could bring in a 5-year experienced attorney for $150. That's probably a realistic number. So let's say $90,000 is the gap. If your attorney is worth at least $1 million, that's 80. Let's just use even numbers. $85,000 of revenue times 4.5 months. So you're giving up on $382,500 in revenue in order to save $90,000. That's insane, right? But nobody's doing the math. We're not thinking about it. So the first things first is you're looking for an experienced attorney. The next thing, if you were bringing in $1 million in revenue for that attorney, what would you be willing to pay that attorney? Is it $150 or would you be more willing to pay $250 for that attorney? The answer is I'd be willing to pay $250, right? So when we post a job out there and we promote that this is something that's available, if we just put a salary of $150 or worse, because we're looking for an experienced attorney, but we're trying to we're still trying to save money, right? So we'll post like a salary range and we'll put the lower end of what we think somebody would be willing to accept if they were experienced to the upper end of what we're willing to pay. So let's say you would post 100 to 150 or 120 to 150 as your range. What you're doing wrong there is you're filtering out all the people who know they're worth more than that. All the good people getting filtered out by doing that. And the people who are good are also looking and saying 120 for 5 years of experience. And I'm just throwing that number out there. I don't know what it is in your specific geographic area. I mean, anybody should be worth at least 150. This firm is cheap. They're going to be cheap all the way at every interaction I have with them. They're not calling you. They're not putting in their resume or their application, right? So you think the market is dead, but chances are what's really happening is that you're just not doing a good job of promoting what you're looking for. You have to open up the deck of cards and not be wearing your risk-averse negotiator hat, okay? And you got to post that job posting with a salary range of $150,000 to $250,000 or $300,000, depending on what you're willing to, what your upper limit is. If you think that attorney can be $2.5 million and you're willing to share 20% of that, then that range should be up to $500,000. Because you can ethically put it out there saying, if you hit this, I will pay you this much money. And then when they come in, that's how you position it. We have a base compensation of $150,000, And we have a performance compensation that you can unlock in this way. And here's the path to 500,000 in income. If there is a path to get there, that should be advertised up front. That shouldn't be something that you keep hidden in your back pocket to hopefully share with them one day. Because A players want to get paid like A players. They want to know that they're working for an organization that is going to recognize their talent and is going to pay them for that. And they don't want to keep jumping from job to job. They want to land at a place that's in alignment with their core values. They want to land in a place that's in alignment with what they want. So when you're looking for somebody, you want to make sure that you're posting your description of the job, whether it's a job posting on the job boards or whether it's a listing on your career page. But there has to be a place where you're describing what you're looking for, what the requirements are. In that posting, it is an advertisement for why somebody should want to work at your firm. It should start with a hook that draws them in. It should educate them on what your firm is about and why this is the culture that they want to join and they want to be a part of. Most people are doing a really poor job of advertising the actual opportunity to the marketplace. Now, another piece of this is that a lot of really good attorneys are not in the job boards looking for a job. They're gainfully employed by an employer that probably values them well for what they do, but there's a reason why they might be interested in jumping ship. Maybe they've hit the ceiling of what's possible for them. Maybe they don't like the way they're being treated, or they don't like the way the business is being operated. Maybe they don't like the core values of the business that they work for. There's a lot of reasons why somebody would want to leave, but there's also a lot of reasons why they might not have taken the steps to go and look for openings at other firms. And before I continue, I'm going to get back to this moment and to this thought in just a moment. We're doing a 2-day in-person workshop where we're going through helping you to create your plan, your strategy. And what that is going to do is it's going to give you the instruction manual that you need for the next 12 months to get your business to $100,000 a month. So if you are trying to get to $100,000 a month, if that's the journey you're on, and you haven't been able to figure that out yourself, and you want help, that is something that we do with our clients. And we have a 2-day workshop where we're going to walk you through exactly how to do that and help you to formulate the exact plan for your business so that when you leave, you not only have the plan, but you have the action steps. You know exactly what action you need to take when you get back to the office and you get back to business. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, if that sounds like something you want to join, you want to go to this URL, but you want to do it now. The reason is because we're discounting seats at various times for the event, and those discounts are expiring and they are never to be seen again. So if you want to get the absolute best price of admission, that best price is right now when you're listening to this, not tomorrow or the day after. Go to profitwithlaw.com/LFG 2026, profitwithlaw.com/LFG 2026, and you'll find out all the details of this workshop and you can sign up there. So understanding that probably 80 to 90% of the attorneys that are potential hires for you are not actually looking for a job. By posting a job and saying nobody's applying or nobody decent is applying and saying there's nobody available in the marketplace, you're just doing it wrong. Because what you really need to be doing is you need to be finding ways to get in front of those attorneys who, when they see this posting of a salary of $150 to $500 with all of the values and all of the ways of doing business that feels really right for them, that will get their attention and they will say, maybe I better put in for this. Maybe I should reach out and ask for more information. And that is how you'll get their attention. Most of the hires that you're going to make that are good hires are going to be people who are coming from another job where they are actively working and and their employers are happy with them. They are not going to be people that are out of a job, looking for a job, or and now this is not a hard and fast rule. Like there is timing, like there is serendipitous timing that happens. And it could be that somebody loses their job, no fault of their own. Their owner is running their business into the ground. Or they leave because things are so bad that they leave and now they're looking for a job. it's possible to have somebody come in who is the perfect candidate through the job boards. So that's not my message. But at the same time, 90%, and this is not a factual percentage that I have tested the market with. This is my own guess of what this number is, but my guess is that 90% of the candidates in the candidate pool are gainfully employed and not looking at the job boards and looking at your job posting. So just putting a job posting up there, you basically covered 10%. And if you want the best opportunity to bring in the best person, then you owe it to yourself to be talking to every single lawyer out there saying, hey, I'm hiring. If you know somebody good, I would love it if you send them my way. If depending on whether you're, going to court and stuff like that, share it with the court clerks, share it with the judges. Go to your bar association, go to bar networking events and shake hands and tell people I'm hiring. I'm looking for this and this and this. If you know anybody, please send them my way. Send them to our website, to the careers page. Tell them to go check it out. We have a fantastic strategy that we do using LinkedIn and automation to automate outreach on LinkedIn. And you can LinkedIn is really powerful because you can prospect based on the keywords that are going to be in their bio, and you can find people with the right experience. But even without people with the right experience, anybody who's an attorney probably knows 20 or 30 other attorneys. They went to law school with a bunch of them. They go to networking events with a bunch of them. They go to conferences with them. They know them. There's Facebook groups out there. There's LinkedIn groups out there. There's so many different ways to share and let people know that I'm hiring and I have a position available. So I spent a lot of time on this, but I'm spending this time because this is the number one problem that I have heard and seen with my clients. The number one problem that people are struggling with is finding good staff, starting with the most valuable or the least inventoried role of a good attorney for what you need. And there is a path to success there, and you need to take that path. You need to execute on that. You need to put the effort in so that you get the result out. And the result is incredible because when you hire an attorney and you do it right, that attorney should equal the next $1 million of revenue in your business or more. So when we look at that attorney and we bring them on, we're not looking at a $150,000 expense. We're looking at an investment of $15,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month that is going to turn into a revenue stream of $85,000 a month. That's what the value of that attorney hire is. In a lot of practice areas, paralegals are worth just as much, if not more, depending on what you're doing, what you're executing on. But I'm reflecting on the year, and I found that this is the number one problem that I have heard and seen with my clients. The number one problem that people are struggling with is finding good staff, starting with the most valuable or the least inventoried role of a good attorney for what you need. And there is a path to success there, and you need to take that path. You need to execute on that. You need to put the effort in so that you get the result out.